Hello everybody, welcome, hi, hope you're okay. I thought I'd show you some of my MDM that I've been building recently. This allows me to mobile device manage iOS devices. It's got some quite good features, so it can do all the profiling stuff, it can do all the app stuff, it gives you a list of the events waiting to be queued for devices, gives you a list of devices, you can send all the custom commands, stuff like that. All of that sort of stuff has been implemented. The code is on GitHub if you want to look at it. It's on my GitHub, ThomasDye12. But I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to explain to you some of the features, some of the stuff like this. So, I'm on the MDM solution right now. And you get, so down the side here, you get a list of your devices. So, what they are and when it's, so this one has just been enrolled and is waiting, it's waiting for the MDM solution to update its config. So it has to make a request to the device and the device has to reply with some data. Yeah, so I've clicked on this iPhone X, iPhone 10, and you get, so general information, you get like device name, model, all that sort of stuff, serial number I've taken away, you don't want to see that, all that sort of stuff. It's supervised, you get all the key information you need to know about the device. Battery level also quite useful. This updates whenever the device last checked in, so this last checked in 3 months ago. This is a simulated iPhone, so that's fine for me. If you come down here to this little cog, I don't know if you can see that, you might not be able to see that, but at the bottom there's some buttons. There's a cog button and an app store button. The apps button allows you to install your custom apps, which is the main reason I built this solution. I build a lot of apps, right? Hold on, I can get my phone out. If I get my phone out, this is the list of apps installed with MDM. It's installing a lot of apps. So if you go down to the select commands section, you can send all of the sort of commands you'd want to do, like get the device information, install the app list, device location, send a message. So this just like literally lets you send a message. AirPlay device. This is needing some work, but these are all the features that Apple support in their MDM. There's some other things I haven't quite implemented here, but it's quite easy to implement. And of course, the code's all open source. So I encourage you, if you're interested, download it, try it, get it used, and put some pull requests in and improve it, because design is not my strong point, so this is kind of more functional than designed. Yeah, so that's all that's your list of things. If you go along here, you get OS settings. So if you're on like a Mac, you get like when it was last updated, when it did an OS install, all that sort of stuff, where it's getting its OS updates. That's the sort of stuff here. List of installed applications. So this is the list of applications, not excluding the system applications that are installed. This allows you to, yeah, you get the idea. You see the applications. Managed apps. So this is something that I've built. So this is using the apps that we installed to allow you to see which apps are on the device. So you can click. So I can click this add button. I could select an app from the drop down. Oh, some of the blank. Okay, that did some work. But you select an app from the drop down and it will add it to the device. But you could also do this in the apps tab that I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, so you can see we've got location tracking and reporting on the device. You can click more information. This doesn't work. Okay, this doesn't work on this page, but that'll give you more information about the app. I'll show you that in a minute. Profiles, you can see what profiles are installed, and then if you click show details, this will just tell you what devices the profiles are installed on, etc. You get the idea. You can download the profile. Say you want to put it on another device that's not part of the MDM or something like that. Up here you can change user. You can assign it a user. This is pulling users from my user database. So it just shows you all the users in the database. That might improve what that suggests. But yeah. And then you can click add device. So in the add device section, I've got download the file, download the MDM config file, copy the link, you need to send the link to somebody else, or scan the QR code so I can get my phone out. Cool. Scan the QR code. And it knows that I can install the MDM. Yeah, that's that. Location tab. This is using 2DS location tracking system we built. Allows you to see the current location of the device, battery level, SSID, all that sort of stuff, whether it's moving, all that sort of stuff. And you can request an update here. It's a bit like Find My. It's not really quite as robust, but it's just a bit of fun. that I built, and it allows me to see past location history. This view doesn't, but if you were in the location tracking system, which we're not, this is pulling the data from location tracking, you can view the past location data, so you could see where the device has been, how it got there, all that sort of stuff. It's about every 100 meters or so I get an update on that. Let's go over to the apps tab. So this is the apps tab. Yeah. So essentially, you've got the icons of the apps, the name of the app, the version, the bundle, the uploaded time, what says expiry date, but what actually means platform, and then the expiry date. That is a... So you're probably thinking, why are some of them red? So see this TDS app? It expired on the 6th of April this year. So because it's custom ad hoc signed, because the ad hoc provisioning profile eventually expires. So I've had it highlight the tabs in accordance with when they're going to expire. This tells me whether I need to update the app or change it or whatever else. So I know that this app needs an update. I need to just recompile it and upload it. I could upload it by choosing file and uploading. I can push the app. This gives me a drop down to select all the devices. There is a to-do list feature that is to filter this so that you don't see all the devices, just devices compatible with the app. I haven't quite got there with that one. That's on the list. This just shows you all of the core components. Can I make this bigger? I can't make this bigger. But this shows you all the actual just raw data coming out of the app. But yeah, there you go. You get your list of apps. You can see there's quite a few apps. Oh, it's got a bit of an issue at the bottom here. But there's quite a few apps there. Over in profiles. Ooh, the fridge is just turned on. Hope that's not too bad. Over in profiles, you've got your profiles. So some of the profiles can be edited online. So if you create a profile online, you can edit it online. There is a limited set. Config test. There's a limited set of profile options. You've got general, certificates, Wi-Fi, domains, and that. However, if you want to do more advanced profile-y stuff, you can go to Apple Configurator on device and then upload that file to the server, and then it won't let you edit the profile, but it will have the profile exist so that you can just push that out. I want to expand that profile options. I just don't really use the profiles that much. There are quite a few here, but I'm not really doing much. So I'm doing single sign-on and platform single sign-on, macOS and iOS single sign-on device sections. But I'm not really doing much else. I'm sort of sending some domains, some web certificates, all that sort of stuff. That's about it that's happening here. But people might have more uses. My main use for this is the apps section. I'm pushing out those apps, getting it all up to date. Events. Let's have a look in the events. So in the events section, you get all of the sort of events that are happening. So a lot of them are queued, as you can see. This is because there are devices that are offline and simulated devices that we're queuing and testing with. Yeah. So this is just, I've sort of just taken you through the GUI. But let's talk about the backend. So the way it works is Apple MDM is quite a complicated system. So essentially, you send a notification from the server to APNS, Apple's push notification system, that then goes onto the device. The device then makes a request to the server, knowing that you've requested it. The server then has to provide the payload that it was to the app the device to do, and then when the device has done that, it make a request back, and it only stops making requests back when you send a blank response. So, e.g., the MDM system sends a blank response back, and the app knows, right, I've finished everything in the queue, and then it moves and stops requesting. So I've not tried to implement that. They're also moving away from that. They're moving to I can't remember what it's called. Some JSON modernization of it, which essentially means that the phone knows about all the config, and it applies the config dynamically as the device changes. That's coming, and I'm sure there are going to be implementations of this as well. It's a bit different. So currently it's all XML. Well, it's plist, isn't it? So it's all the proprietary plist stuff, which is essentially XML. But so the people over at Micro MDM, who also make Nano MDM, which is also a bit smaller, is also quite good, have implemented an MDM server solution that you can run on your server. This is what I'm running. I'm running this as the back end. Then in front of that, I've got a PHP interface, which allows to interpret the data, store all the data in a Mongo database. I'm not using any sort of relational database. We're storing it in MongoDB. And then it also gives me access to it in the GUI. Because, of course, the GUI has to be all fully authenticated and stuff like that. So we require you to be signed in, all that sort of stuff. But MicroMDM just has a single API key. So none of my MicroMDM system is publicly exposed. Actually, that's a lie. It has to have two publicly exposed paths. The path that the device talks to the MDM on, which must be a HTTPS connection. And I want to say there's something else. There's one other path. Maybe it's two paths for the device. They must both be a publicly available MDM. They must both be a publicly available URL that doesn't require any authentication, because the device and the server do their own sort of key exchange and handshake, so that you know it's them. So this is what's running there. Well, if I go this way, I've got the code. So this is my PHP backend. So as you can see here in this API folder, I've got the API, and then I just got the public sort of web interface and stuff like that. Down here, if I go down here, I can't find index. So here you go. You can see some of the paths. You can see some of the paths, the endpoints, all that sort of stuff. This is just so this is send a command. We go to v1, send command, string, send the command. That calls the function send the command. Yeah, there's quite a lot of things. I've been adding quite a lot of random stuff to make this work in the way I want it to do. But yeah, so all of this is stored in MongoDB. So I'm using one MongoDB instance where you've got, I think it's collections for devices, queue, events, apps, and I want to say there's something else. I want to say there's 4 components in the MongoDB. I could just fucking find that. 3, so the database, so devices, apps, events, and profiles. Profiles, yes, there's 4. Yeah, so they're all just stored in the database. You can import your own database. All this code, again, is on GitHub if you're interested. I just thought you guys would like me to talk you through it. But yeah, hope you find this interesting. So, what else is there? So, I've just added some stuff to do with APNS. So, essentially, I've made an iOS app that allows you to see your current device's MDM configuration. So, everybody who's in the MDM gets sent that application. They could see their device, name, all that sort of stuff the last time it checked in, see the list of apps they've been assigned, all that sort of stuff. As you can see from this list, we have quite a lot of devices. These are all real devices. They all physically exist. Yeah, and there's probably more that are not in the MDM. So I've added that sort of stuff. What else? I don't know what else. But yeah, I'll leave it here. But I think this has been interesting. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found my MDM solution quite interesting. Thank you for watching.